Hi everyone, this is Carrie from stampwithct. I'm excited to be here with you for today's Friday Finding Inspiration video. We are using different forms of inspiration to spark our crafting, and today I have a fun one for you. So during January, we used the celebration brochure and we cased projects. For February, what I'm doing is using social media to help us find inspiration, but not in a way where we actually find a card that we want to case, that we want to make something similar. We're finding inspiration in a different way. So last week we found inspiration by using the weather forecast. So if you'll remember, we made a really fun layered circle card. This week, we're finding inspiration from a Rothy's ad. So these are super awesome shoes. I don't have a pair just yet, but these are super awesome shoes from a company called Rothy's. And from what I understand, they're even washable, machine washable. So awesome. So I loved the color combo in this picture. Not only the shoes, but also the legs on the ladies. I just thought this was a really neat color combo and it caught my eye. So I think when I printed it, it looks just a little bit different. To me, this had more of a pink hue to it. And so that's what I'm taking as far as the inspiration, but this is what inspired me to create the card today. So let's get started with our Rothy's inspired card. We are going to begin with a piece of thick, basic white cardstock, and I'm just grabbing my bone folder. This is 8.5 by 5.5. It's scored at 4 1/4. So we will burnish that good, make sure that that lays down right. Then I have a piece of basic white cardstock that is 5 inches by 3 3/4. Now that's going to just layer right on top, but first we have some things to do to this. I'm going to bring in my silicone craft sheet because we are going to be adhering some colors of cardstock. And so let me bring back in our inspiration photo. I set it aside over here, but here's what I pulled in Stampin' Up! Colors after taking a look at this ad. Let me get those fanned out a little bit better. So here's what we're going to use. I've got a piece of soft suede cardstock. I've got a piece of crumb cake cardstock. Got a piece of Blushing Bride and a piece of Petal Pink cardstock. So we're actually going to just layer these on. Now I've run this cardstock through an embossing folder that I absolutely love. It's called Tasteful Textiles, and this just really adds some nice texture. And if you look closely at the pictures of the shoes, you can tell that there's some texture to them, and so I just wanted to mimic that along with the paper. So I thought that would be really cool to just add that little bit of texture. So let's take some liquid glue and we're just going to quickly assemble this. This is going to be a pretty simple card. You'll see. So I thought about this card one night when I was having trouble sleeping. Does that ever happen to you? Do you ever think of projects that you could make when you should be sleeping? I actually keep a little notepad by the bed because I find that I need to write those things down, because if I don't remember in the morning. So I just have a little notepad. That also helps me get back to sleep too. So I'm just butting those pieces of cardstock, which are 1 1/4 wide and 3 3/4 inches long. And I got just a bit of glue on my fingers. Give me just a minute. So just layering these pieces up. And I was actually able to cut the pieces and then put them in my embossing folder. Just do all the pieces at once. So I love this color combo. You'll have to let me know what you think, but I'm loving this. Now, I did cut that at 5 inches, thinking if I did 1.25 inches that I would completely cover this nicely. And I do find that I'm going to have a little bit hanging over on this end. I don't think it's going to be enough that I'm really going to mess with it. I think we're just going to go with it, y'all. So look at that amazing texture from using the embossing folder. I just think that looks so good. Let's give that just a second to dry. I just overused my glue. Push that aside for just a second. And I'm going to bring in a couple of punches. I've got the regular punch and the scalloped heart punch. And then I've got some scraps of paper. We're going to use the scalloped punch to punch out a soft suede scalloped heart. These punches have been in our catalog since last year at this time. Fabulous layering punches, especially for around Valentine's Day. So if you have these punches, be sure to get them out. Now I want to bring in my soft suede ink, and I happen to have one of the older style ink pads in soft suede. It's not a color that I stamp with a lot, but it's fine because this ink pad still works just as well as it did when it was new because I have the re-inker for it. And I'm going to use my scrap right quick. I'm having a little bit of trouble. Yes, I was afraid of that. I have that upside down. So we'll stamp our sentiment right here on this heart. And Oliver is right here with me today, stamping with me. So happy to have you in my life. We're just going to layer this heart on top of our scalloped heart. It's going to look really good too. So you can see this is a super simple card. I'm just really focusing on the color combo that we have. I love it. Okay, we'll go ahead. You know, I may bring my trimmer in if I can. There it is. Let's just bring my trimmer in. Trim off just a little bit of that pink. It's just a tiny bit too long. That was perfect. I love my Stampin' Trimmer. So I believe what I'd like to do is add some dimensionals to pop this on the front of my card. And I'm still looking for something to inspire us for next week. So if by chance you see a fun ad that you think would make a great card, let me know. This has really been a fun process to challenge myself with. I love it. Get those backings off my Stampin' Dimensionals. Get them out of the way into my little trash bin. Okay, so I want this section that has the soft suede toward the bottom. And let me see if I can get this somewhat lined up here. It may take a couple of tries, but I'll get it. I like that little bit thicker border around the outside to really let those colors shine. Move it over just a tiny bit, and then we're just going to go with that. And I'm actually thinking that this may be the Valentine card that I give to my daughter. I think it's just so elegant and pretty. And we're not done yet. Let's add our hearts to the front of the card. I'm going to bring it up here. And that way, that stands out a little bit more on those colors. And I'm going to give that a second to dry because with that texture, it needs to adhere a little bit better. And in the meantime, I will grab my Take Your Pick tool. And I thought that pulling in just the basic pearls would be a sweet addition to this card. I just want something very simple, and I think pearls are just a classic. Now I could also come in, let me pick that one back up. I could also come in with my Stampin' Blends, and I could actually even add some color to the pearls if I wanted to. I could make those pearls have a little pink color. Just making sure that I'm getting those straight there. And I think we'll go ahead and do one more pearl. We'll go with one of the medium ones. Maybe even up here. Okay, so we're keeping it sweet and simple today, y'all. I hope you enjoy this project. I love it. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in my Rothy's shoe ad and let you see what we created today. Lots of fun. If you try doing a color combo like this, if you find inspiration from something interesting that you find on social media, I hope you'll share it with me. Let me know in the comments what you think. See you soon.